Hi and welcome to this DCP web tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a Facebook video cover using Magic's Movie Edit Pro. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is download a video clip. So I'm going to go to Pixabay and I want to download this particular video. It's like this time lapse with this lighting. I think it looks pretty cool. So we want to use this in the example that I'm going to create today. So what we'll do is just click free download here and then select 1920 by 1080 resolution. That's the file size we want, 1920 by 1080, and we'll click download. Now if you don't want to use this particular video, you can click on the logo here and go to the home page and make sure you select videos from the drop down here. Normally set to photo, select video, and inside here you can search for other things like let's say sky for example, and then you can see nice ones, maybe something like this. You can click on that one or any of these other ones depending on the sort of business that you run, what you're doing. I'm using something pretty generic. I just like the lighting in that particular video. Click on the clip that you want and then make sure you select 1920 by 1080 and download that other video clip, whichever one you prefer. So I'm going to be using the one we just selected. So let's open up this folder on my desktop and I just want to drag and drop this video into here. We can close down the web browser here, just close it. We'll just minimize it for the moment. So inside this folder I've got two things. I've got this document with some notes, that's just for myself. Then I've got the intro, my logo intro, and then I've got this video clip that we've downloaded. So I'm going to go and open up Magic's Movie Edit Pro. I'm going to go to File, New Project, and inside New Project, in the drop down here, Movie Settings, you want to scroll right down to the bottom and select User Defined, Open Movie Settings. Everything else you can pretty much leave as default. And we'll click on Create here, and when we click on Create, this little pop-up will open here, this one here. And with this pop-up, we want to, let's see, we want to set the width to 820. So make sure you set the width here to 820 pixels. The height will be 462. The ratio should already be set to 16 by 9. So that's 16, and then you want to use a colon, right? 16, 2 dots, and then 9, like that. And then the frame rate will be 29.97 frames per second. So we'll click OK. And what we want to do next is just open up this folder, and inside this folder I want to drag and drop my logo. So let's just see. If I drag and drop this logo into the timeline, this pop-up is going to appear and it's going to say the basically the settings for the video do not match the file that you've just drag and dropped into the timeline. So I'm just going to click do not adjust. Whenever you see that message here pop up when you're dragging and dropping videos for this particular project, just select do not adjust. When we click on that, we'll see the logo here. Now, one thing to note, let's just quickly go to the web browser. I'm going to go to my Facebook page. So you can see the video playing in here. This is the video that we're going to be creating something very similar to this. And if I pause it and go to, or if I double click on it, you'll see the video play in full screen. Now, one thing to note is when we create this video, here's a good example. Let's move forward a little bit here to this one. Now, when we create the video in Magix, we want to make sure any written content is not too high up here and not too low down here, because some content is going to get cropped from the bottom around this much here, and then some content is going to get cropped from the top. So if you can imagine, if we go back here, you can see that like the mountains are just at the top here, and then we've got this sort of this little piece of, let's say this little hut here. You might be able to see that. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. So you can see the mountains at the top here, and you can see the little hut down here. So when we go to full screen and we see that same scene, you can imagine this much at the top is going to get cropped, and then the little hut is down here, right? So it's just below here, it's going to get cropped here. So you imagine that much, and this top part is going to get cropped. It's around 100 pixels from the top and 100 pixels from the bottom. So just make sure any written content or your logo is not too high up or too low down. You want it to be around here and here. So that's just a little note for yourself, and you'll see that when we're doing this content. So let's just go back here. Let's pause this video. Let's go back and we'll pause it for now. Now in Magic's Movie, the first thing I want to do is speed up this audio clip, or this logo. Now the logo actually contains audio, so I'm going to click here. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. Let's try and do that. So when I move my mouse cursor to the bottom of this video clip, I want to click here and drag all the way down. That's going to mute the audio. Yeah? Just want to mute the audio, and then I want to zoom back out. And I want to click on this video clip. I want to speed it up. So let's click on it. Let's go to the speed here, and I'm going to set it to 3. It's going to play 3 times faster than the original file would normally play. So I want it to be quite quick. One thing to note is when you create the Facebook video cover, it can only be, let's just save this work as we're doing it. Let's go to File, Save Project As. I'm just going to go to my desktop, and where is that one gone? Facebook here. Okay, so one thing to note is when you create this video clip, it can only be 90 seconds long. So that's 1 minute and 30 seconds, right? No longer than that duration. So you're going to make sure all of your content, whatever you're going to say, whatever messages, fits within that time frame of 1 minute and 30 seconds, right? Basically, that's what you want to make sure. So what we want to do quickly, just going to make a little note here. So what we want to do is I think this logo, when it gets towards the end, it's a little bit on the big side, right? Because it zooms in like this. So I just want to make sure I reduce the size a little bit. It doesn't have to be reduced that much. So I'm going to click on it and go to the effects here and go to size and position. I just want to zoom out a little bit, just make it a bit smaller like this. And this should be perfectly fine. So when I click play, you can still see the logo. It's fine. It zooms in a bit, but that's all good. That should fit quite nicely. Let's just see that one more time. Here, okay, you can see there's quite a big gap here at the bottom, and there's quite a big gap at the top, and that's where Facebook's going to do some cropping, right, of this particular video after we upload it. Yeah, so that should be fine. Now I just want to go quickly to the folder again, but this time I want to drag and drop the other clip, this one. So I'll drag and drop that to the timeline so it sits beside this one. Again, it's going to ask me, do I want to adjust anything? I'm going to say do not adjust. And now I've got this this video clip in here, right? Like this. And I want to put these messages about my business. If you're going to make this video header for your Facebook page, you might as well try and make it informative in some way, right? Not just putting this nice little pretty picture and nothing more than that. It's a bit rubbish. Really want to get a message out there. So I'm going to hold down the control key and zoom out a little bit. And what I want to do is go to templates. And inside templates, I want to select dynamic titles. You've got all these different dynamic titles. If you click play on one of them, it will show you what it looks like, how it's going to play. And the first one that I want to use is this one here. It's called Rain of Letters. So I want these letters to kind of fall down. And there's a few different examples in here. We'll maybe use 2 different examples, but this is the first one that I want to use. So I'm just going to drag and drop that into the timeline, but I want to drag and drop it below this main video clip because it's going to overlay. Think of the timeline like this. Think of this as the most bottom layer, and as you go downwards, the layers are stacking on top. It's almost reverse order, like in Photoshop, it's the other way around. In this software, the top timeline is actually the bottom, and then as you move downwards, the timeline stacks in that order. So we want to overlay this on top, right? So I'll put it below. A bit strange. I know it seems strange, but it makes sense when you're doing video editing. Now, obviously, this font is a bit rubbish and the size is a bit small. So what we'll do is click on this, and over here you can change the settings. And I want to put a message in there. So I want to write something a bit about my business, right? So I want to say something like, we custom design and build amazing websites for businesses. So let's just drag across the timeline. You can see that there. And what I might do is I might split this. So I'm going to click in here, and where it says build, I'm going to hit the backspace key and hit enter. So it's going to have it on 2 lines. So we custom design and build amazing websites for businesses. In the font, I don't like this font, so I'm going to pick a particular font. It's called let me think now. It was called, let's see, I've got all these different fonts in here, right? So I want to find a font that I like. Let's see. You can pick any font you want. You don't have to use the fonts I'm using. Feel free to use any sort of font that you like. This one's pretty cool as well, but it's quite hard to read. I don't think it's the most legible. So I want to use, let's see. It's called Distant Galaxy, this one. It's called Distant Galaxy. So you can probably do a Google search and find that particular font if you want to use that same one. Now what you need to do is move across the timeline towards the end of this text here, because that's going to give you its maximum size, because you can see it as it drops down, it kind of zooms in. So when you get towards the end, you can judge roughly what's the maximum size you can make that font. So I want to make it around 32 here, so I'm going to type in here 32, 32, and let's see. So that's too big. Can you see it goes off the screen? So let's set it to 28, and that's just right on the edge. I want it to be a bit smaller than that, so I'm going to set it to 26. So 26 seems to be a nice sort of size. So as we move back through the timeline, we're going to see the logo, and you're going to see this this background, and then you're going to see this text drop down. Now obviously the background just kind of drops in a bit random. So what I want to do is move this across a little bit, and then I'm going to click up here and drag across to fade it. So now when we click play, we'll see the logo that will fade out, and then this background will fade in, and maybe we'll fade it in even a bit longer than that. Let's see, something like this. I think that looks pretty cool. Now what I want to do is reuse this same text, not the same text but the same animation. So I'm going to select it, press Ctrl C to copy it, move behind it somewhere like around here, and then press Ctrl V. Let's zoom out a little bit. So now you can see them two side by side. I'm going to click on this one and drag it so it snaps to this one here. Make sure your this magnet tool is enabled, right? Because then when you drag it will snap to the other object next to it. Let's click here above on the timeline. Let's move towards the back of this this second text clip. Double click on it, and then you can just click back up here. That will show the text in here. And I'm going to copy another piece of text, select this text, delete it, and then paste in the new text. You can write anything that you want. This one says increase conversions and revenue. Increase conversions, revenue, and social media. Let's do a enter here. And that's still a bit too big, right? So increase conversions, revenue. Let's hit enter here. Social media. Let's get the word engagement on that second line. And then underneath we'll do and search engine optimization, and I want to get rid of the word and put an ampersand in there like this, because the other one had a ampersand here, right? So it would be better to be consistent. I think it will look better. So now we've got these two text clips, right? There's enough time to sit there and read it, and the font looks pretty good. So now we want to move on to the next part. So what I'll do is copy this one again and paste it here, and we'll drag back here. We'll click on this. Let's click on this text here, and then I want to copy this last one in here. Let's paste this one. This one says top 10 reasons to choose DCP web design. So I'm going to write top. I'm going to do just top reasons to choose DCP web designers. In here I'm typing it upper lowercase, but this particular font is only uppercase, so it's always going to show in here uppercase. So really uppercase, lowercase in here doesn't matter too much for me, but you may want to just double check what you're typing, right? So this one is just going to say top 10 or just top reasons to choose DCP web designers. Now this video clip at the top is kind of running out. It's going to go to black in the moment, but let's not worry about that too much. What I'm going to do is go back to templates, and I want to select a different one. So we can maybe use, let's see what this one looks like. It's called Blown by the Wind, right? So I'm going to drag and drop that one to the timeline next to this one. And we have to just reset the font. So the font was, let's click on this one. It was Distant Galaxy. So I'm going to click in here and type in Distant, and then just hit enter. It's going to type Distant Galaxy, and the font size on this one was 26. So I'll click on this one and type 26 as well. And let's just move here. You can see it's looking a bit too large. Set to 186. We want to set it to 26. And then I want to copy another line of text and paste it in here. And this line says 15 years, over 15 years, and I'm going to hit enter. So now it will say over 15 years website design knowledge. So let's just get rid of that space there, and then we're good. Now we've run out of video clip at the top, so I want to replicate it. So I'm going to hold the control key and use the mouse wheel to zoom out a little bit. Click on this top clip, press Control C to copy. Let's move the timeline behind it, and then press Control V to paste. I want to get rid of the fade at the beginning, so I'm going to drag this and move it back because I want it to fade here. I'm going to click on this clip, go to speed, and I'm going to set it to reverse. Now I want a 1 second fade between these clips. I'm going to use the mouse wheel. In fact, let's zoom out a little bit. I'm going to click on the timeline here. Wherever you move the timeline, or wherever the timeline cursor is, when you hold the control key and you move your mouse wheel upwards, it's going to zoom into that point. I'm going to click on this clip, and if you look just above the clip, it says 2918. So I'm going to drag backwards and overlay them and make it 2818. So as I drag back, you'll see the timer moves down. I'm going to set it to 2818, and that will be exactly 1 second. So now I've got a 1 second fade across. The reason I did that is if I click play now, let's go back here. If I click play, basically the this animation, the video clip now is going to play in reverse order, so it's going to go in the opposite direction, because I don't want it to just loop. I want it to like transition forwards and backwards and forwards, right, like that. So let's copy this clip. We've got this one done. Now we can just reuse this one. So we'll select it. Let's just select it, press Control C to copy, press Control V to paste, and then drag it here. And we can do these other ones a bit more quicker now. We can click on this clip. Let's move the timeline here, click on it, paste this here, and I'm going to write 2 hours free, hit the backspace and hit enter. 2 hours free website design consultancy. Click here, press Control V to paste again, drag it so it snaps here, click at the top, and then we'll cut and paste another one. We'll do a few of these. Hundreds of completed website design projects, and again you can write what relates to your business. We'll copy this again, paste it, and this time we'll write we're going to write here affordable website design solutions, right? So now you can see what it's looking like. You're going to have these nice sort of faded style text here, and we'll copy this one, paste it here, and I'm going to write let's click on, you have to, sometimes the cursor is behind, so you need to move over the actual text itself, then you can paste it in. So I'm going to write secure and reliable website website host well, I might write secure and reliable email and website hosting. Okay, so let's just finish these text. So sometimes you can't see the end of the timeline here, or there's not enough space. Just hold the control key and zoom out a little bit, you get a lot more space there. Then you can copy this one, copy it, paste it. I'm going to paste it once. Let's see, once, twice, 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The reason why I pasted it 3 times because I'm going to put 3 text in there, so I can just drag them all the way, snap it, click above, and then copy the next one, which will be this text here, and just paste it quickly now. Free access to over, and I'll click here, click on this one, and then I'm going to copy this message, paste it, free access to over 500, and then I'm going to copy this one, click here, and paste this text. Powerful social media and SEO solutions. So we can do them much quicker. Once you've got your workflow, you can just cut and paste quite quickly. Let's just make sure this is snapped in. Yep. That's pretty good. So we've done all the text. Again, I've pre-written this already for this particular project, so you can go and write whatever you feel is right for your business. Free access to over 500. Let's just check this one quickly. Get rid of that blank space. Sometimes there's like a blank space at the end of the first line. You just want to make sure there's no blank space there. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Now we just want to replicate this video across the top, so I'm going to copy, select this one, copy it, paste it here, select it, and I'm going to go to speed, and I'm going to undo the reverse, and then I'm going to click here, and I want to drag this back 1 second so it overlaps. So it's on 55. When I click on it, it says 5503, so I want it to be 5403. So I drag across, what was it, 55, yeah, 5403. It's a little tricky. Sometimes it's worth zooming in. Let's see, 50, 5503, 5403 here. So that will now just fade across. So it's going one direction, and as it's fading across, the clouds and everything are going to move in the other direction. Okay, so the last thing I want to do is, obviously this is about my business. And you can see we're getting very close to the 1 minute 30 marker, right? We're at 1 minute 20 seconds. So we've got about 10 seconds left. So what I'll do is just put a static ending, which will be my logo, my website address. So I'm going to go to template. I'm going to go to font basic and just drag this basic font here. And then again, I want to select this Distant Galaxy, right? Distant Galaxy font. And let's just type in my website address, so we can see it in here. Then we can see roughly what size it is, and we want to set this to be much bigger. Let's click on the drop down. Let's make it larger. Let's make it quite large. Let's say 40 would be good. And let's just see. And I think that will be fine. So one thing I want to do, this is kind of optional, and I think actually, yeah, there's kind of an option here. You can click on this text here, and you can set it to underline as well. So if you want it to underline, I think the underline looks pretty cool, where it's kind of underlined like this. So what we'll do is click on this one, underline it, go to the next one, underline that one as well. And you can set it to italic if you want. What I might also do for consistency, I'm going to get rid of this full stop at the end, because a lot of them don't have full stops, but some of them do, and I'm a bit picky like that. It's got to be one or the other. So let's click on this one, we'll underline it, click this one, underline it. Should have already done this on the first one, and then as we copied it, it would have done it for all of them, but hey, we live and learn. So let's click this one, and then finally click on this one. And the website, I'm not going to underline it because it doesn't make sense. Don't need to. So we want to do a little bit of work at the end here, and really what we want to do now is let's see. So as this one finishes, I want to fade this last one out, the powerful text. I want to fade this. So I'm going to click up here and just drag it across to fade it out. Let's just click play. Now you can see it's going to fade out like this. And then the actual video, I want to fade this out as well. So now both the video and the text will fade out like this. So I want them to both fade out. And I just want a few seconds of black frame. So when I click here, fade out, then this text here will be here, my logo, right? Or my website address. Now we want to move our timeline to, let's see, you can see up the top here is the timeline, or the time counter. I want to move it to exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds. So then we can drag this all the way across, and we're going to fade it out at the end, and we're going to fade it in at the beginning, like this. Let's just save this. If we just move back on the timeline, just see how that works. So I want my website address to be there for a little while, so that people can get a chance to read that website address and type it into the search engine and find my business or whatever they're going to do. And we're bang on 1 minute 30 seconds, right? And that's exactly what YouTube says the longest your video clip can be. It doesn't have to be that long, but it cannot be no longer than 90 seconds, which is 1 minute 30 seconds. So we're good to go. Now what I want to do is I want to create two versions of this, one with audio and one without. So let's export this without audio first, and then we're going to put an audio track there to see which one we prefer. Okay, so to export this, I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to let's see, Export Movie here, and then I'm going to go to Video as MPEG 4 here. When I click on that, you must make sure the resolution is 820 by 462. Those are the original size that we set before. The frame rate will be 29.97, which is correct, and the ratio will be 16 by 9, and everything else is done here. So I'm going to save it to my desktop, and I'm going to call this one, let's just call it, I'm going to rename it here. It's going to call it FB for Facebook, and I'm going to call it FB dash cover, and then I'm just going to say no audio, right? And we don't really need to do anything else. All we need to do, you can turn on the apply interlace, anti-interlace here. That will just stop any flickering, but that shouldn't really happen, to be fair. And everything else is good to go. So I'm going to click OK, and it's going to start to do the export. It's going to come up with this message here. Let's just see. Sections were found in the movie clip which do not contain any image or movie material. The number of areas detected 2, position longest range 1 second and 20. So I think what it's saying is in can you see here it's got no like, there's going to be like a blank thing here, so I think this is an error. So let's click cancel, because that's going to be a problem. We can fix that quite quickly, because I think when I drag the video clip, can you see here it's going to be like a black frame here. I don't really want that, so let's zoom out. Let's select all of these videos and let's just drag them so they snap to the other video clip. Let's just move this timeline, and we just want to drag it so it sits right here next to the intro. Let's click play, and that should be fine. And then we need to sort out the back part here. Let's see. So this should be fine, but really I want the this text to fade out first and then the clip to fade out afterwards. And I think we need to adjust our, it's finishing, let's see. So it's still finishing on the same correct point in time. So let's just see this. There's going to be some black frames here. Probably, it's only about half a second, but I reckon we can reduce that. Let's just reduce it. So there'll be a few black frames here, just in between. It will fade to black and this will fade in. Just don't want such a big gap there. So I think this is good. Let's just click play here and see. That fades out, and there's a small slight pause where it's black frames, and then this logo or this website address will fade in, and then it's going to fade out, and then Facebook will repeat this. It will loop back around again. So let's save this. Let's go to export again one more time. Export as MPEG-4. All the settings in here are correct. So all we need to do is just rename it again. We'll call it, this time we're just going to call it Facebook FB. I'm just going to call it FB dash cover dash no audio. And then we'll click OK. It's still going to come up with this error message saying that it's detected some black frames where that was before, but that's fine. I'm going to say ignore. And it's going to start the export. I'll pause this video, we'll wait for it to export, and then we'll add the audio to the other example. Okay, so Magix has finished exporting the first video. So let's go to File, Save, and let's minimize this. We can see the first video clip here, but I want to add another example with some audio. So let's go back to Facebook, and inside of the, I'm going to click on this video here. So I'm just going to load that into a new tab. And you can see all my videos here. Let me zoom back out again. We don't need to be so zoomed in. And when you click on video here, you can actually scroll down and you can go to video library. And when you select video library here, you'll see all your video content, but you can actually click on, if I can find it, where is it gone? Sound collection here. So here you can download loads of music tracks from Facebook, which are not going to give you a copyright problem, yeah? So that's why I use this particular tool. There's a similar one for YouTube. I've done a video tutorial on that as well. So you can go and have a look at the one on YouTube. I might put a link to that in the YouTube description, or just go to my YouTube tutorials, click on playlist, and then find the one for YouTube, and you'll find the audio library there as well. And I want to search for this particular audio track. Is called Bright Something. So let it search. See if we'll find it. I think it was called. Let's have a little look so we can find it. It was under. Here's all the different categories, right? Let's get rid of this search, see if I can find it manually. So here's all the different categories. and we're looking for, let's see, could be under ambient. There's lots of different audio clips in here. I've already actually downloaded the clip that I want. It was called Bright Day, but I can't seem to find it in here. So have I got it in here? I don't think I have it in here. It's called Bright. Let's just click on sound collection again. Here it is, Bright Day. So if you search for Bright Day, this is the one that I want to use. So I'm going to click download. And you can download any music track you like. It's a WAV file, so it's quite a large file, but it will have good audio quality. So if we go back to Magix, and really I want to open up this folder, and then I just want to drag this audio clip. Where is it gone? Let's just see here. It's should be MP3, right? It's a WAV file actually in here. WAV here. It's not an MP3. It's a WAV file. So we drag and drop that onto the timeline, and we can click play. So we've got this little audio track going, but you can see the audio is way too long. So we're going to go to the end of the timeline, click here, and then click on the audio track, and then cut it. We're going to cut it like this, and then we'll zoom in onto that timeline at this position, and about halfway across this, or just a little bit more. So around here, I want to fade out the audio. So let's click play. We might fade that out at a longer duration, maybe around here, so it fades out gradually over a period of time. So I think that's pretty cool. So let's go to save. Again, you can put any audio track you like. I'm going to go to file, export again. So I want to export this as an MPEG MP4 file again. The settings are, let's just check 1 minute. I clicked on the wrong one. File, export movie, MPEG 4. Should be 820 by 462 is correct. Everything's correct in here. But this time we'll call it, let's open this folder and go to my desktop. Click on the other audio clip, and this time we'll just call it Facebook cover with audio, or just audio. Click save, and then we'll click OK, and I'm going to let this one export, and we can just ignore this again because it's got that little blank gap at the end or in between the those clips. We just click ignore. This one's going to export. I'll pause the video and we can check out how this looks like on Facebook. Okay, so Magix is finished exporting the one with audio. Really, we can go ahead and just save this, and we can close down Magix. So on the desktop, we've got one with audio and one without. Let's just play the one without audio. Let's just see what it looks like. And it's going to be a lower resolution because it doesn't need to be full HD resolution, because it's going to be quite small when it shows on Facebook. I'm going to close this. Let's go and open up the web browser. We can close these tabs. I'm on my Facebook page here, and to get that video working, we're going to click change cover, or your one might say add cover, something different. If I click remove, actually confirm, you'll see something like this maybe, or maybe just a still picture. Click add cover and then upload photo or video, and I'm going to upload the one with audio, which is this one here. So you select the relevant one that's that you've uploaded or you've created. I'm going to click open, and we're going to wait for this to upload. Okay, so the video's finished uploading to Facebook. Obviously some audio playing there, so it might be a little bit hard to see me, but I'm going to go ahead and click next. And when I click next, So that's the video playing there. I positioned it right, so I've placed it where I want it to be, and then when I click next, it's going to ask me to show a thumbnail. So you can click across here, and it will pick some random thumbnails. So you can pick something that's got like a good message to it. So maybe something like affordable website design solutions. That's like perfect for my business, right? Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a way to upload a thumbnail. Over 15 years website design knowledge, that one's okay as well. But I think this one here is good for me, affordable website design solutions, and I'll go ahead and click publish, and I'll click publish here. And as default, when it plays, it's going to be muted, right? You can see you can't hear any audio. You can click here to enable audio, but most people will hear it muted, but some people can, click here and listen to the audio if they want to listen to it as well. But overall, I think it's a much better improvement than having a still image or some static type of picture. It's a bit more visually appealing. You can get a better message across as well, right? And you've got that whole 90 seconds to get that message across. If the video, after you've positioned it, if it isn't quite right, you can go to change cover here and reposition, and then you can move it to where you think is going to be right, and then you can reselect your thumbnail. So we'll select this one here and click publish. Just make sure your logo plays okay. If you've got a little intro of your logo, just make sure everything fits nicely, right? So it all seems to fit quite well. The text is all readable. It's not too high, it's not too low. Maybe this could have been down a little bit more, but overall I think it's pretty good. You can see it's cropped at the top and it's cropped at the bottom here. If I were to click on the video clip, it would just mute this. You can see there's much more space at the top and bottom, so Facebook is just cropping that off. Still, the video content is still actually there, it's just been cropped, that's all. So that's the end of this tutorial. If you go and check it on your mobile phone, so if you've got a Facebook app on your phone or anything like that, you'll see this video play on your phone as well, which is quite a nice feature. It's nice to have this sort of visual content on your phone as well, so anyone goes and hits your Facebook page on your phone, they will also see this video playing, and they'll get that message as well about your business, right? So that's how you go about creating a Facebook video cover using Magic's Movie Edit Pro. Let's minimize this. I hope you find this tutorial useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next DCP web tutorial.